Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me on Their Fight Story. I have William Knightmare Knight with us. William, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
How has your journey been getting to this point?
Whew. Well, it's been a long time. I mean, you actually witnessed my true debut at reality when I
Yes.
fought Jose Campos. That was my true debut because it was actually a person that was in my weight class and actually someone that didn't just take the fight last minute. So you were at my true debut and you seen the result of that. I didn't get the decision, but from there, my mindset from there was like,
Mhm.
'cause I didn't agree. I didn't feel like I didn't like what happened. And then from there, I was like, I won't let these fights go into the judge's
Mhm.
hand. And more than so, one fight in the Amis when I fought Jorgen, and my recent fight, September 26th, are the only two fights since I've been fighting in the cage that ever went to the judges. Every other fight I finished.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember your very first fight. I remember it like it was yesterday because I kept remembering, like, mind you, I had never met you before. Then I found out that you did Muay Thai. So
Yeah.
I had to message you. I'm like, dude, like, great fight, but where was your Muay Thai? But also, you don't want it to go to a decision, so
Yeah.
you always have to put it out there. I mean, and then from then, it was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It was like intense. Your whole journey has just been intense because you walk in there, and people who don't know you, um, they have their own interpretation of like who you are and stuff like that, and that really doesn't matter because we all know who you are.
Yeah.
So how did it feel?
I mean, that experience.
Your face says it all.
Yeah, like I'm still trying to gather it because the fact that I got to leave the country during a pandemic and do a sport that you love, like what I love about it, like I was able to fight, do something that I love while the world is shut down, and it happened on one of the biggest fight cards of the year. So it was like mad rewarding. And then to top it all off, like I feel like it was a dream. I got to fight a person that I wanted to fight. I called this person out. I wanted to fight him. And the fact that I got to fight him, it was just, I'm still even trying to grasp it. Like, I'm like, did this happen? Did I get to fight a guy? He stopped Fabio. He said something after the fight about the 205 division. He made his UFC debut. He trains with the best heavyweight in the world. So you sit here and it's like he trains with Shapey and stuff. Everyone around the world thought I was gonna lose because this is Shapey's main training partner. And I sat here with this chip on my shoulder. I'm like, man, all eyes are on me. Like, all right, you know what? My physical self, maybe that'll throw people off and be like, you know what, this guy will win. But believe it or not, I was the underdog on the card. I was the underdog. I'm like, what? I'm the underdog. I got more experience. I showed tenacity. Like I showed crazy things in fights, and I'm the underdog. This guy's 6-0, and I'm 8-1, and I'm like, dude, like, okay, cool. Now that chip that was on my shoulder is gone. I'm like, I got nothing to lose and everything to gain in this fight. So to be in Dubai, the way they treated us was just food. They deliver our food. They kept us quarantined. They check our temperatures every morning. I think we did a total of 4 COVID tests. They don't let you leave the green zone to go out into the red zone. Like the hotel room was so big. There's a freaking racetrack for cars and motorcycles and people biking, jogging. It was like I'm sitting here on this dream island that is so much more than just Fight Island. It's like the whole experience. You got a performance institute there, PI, clothing, the whole nine. Like I was so zoned into the fighting though. Like I didn't get to enjoy it like some of the fighters did that I seen. But after the fight was done, everything came rushing to me. Like, yo, this just happened. Not only did you make your UFC debut, you met, you met, you got to fight first class with Dominic Reyes,
Mhm.
this freaking style bender freaking Diego Sanchez, freaking Dabadoo, like Hakeem. Me and Hakeem was next to me, and I got all of Izzy's team next to me. I'm sitting here in first class, just smiling. Like at first, I was gonna try to take pictures, and then I realized I'm just like these guys. Like I don't have to be that a fan no more. Like, I'm just like y'all, and I'm sitting here holding myself, trying to contain myself because I didn't want to feel like a fan. And I'm like, I'm not a fan anymore. I'm a part of the UFC roster. I'm about to make my UFC debut among these guys. And then like the whole thing, like you would think, like, all right, these are some dangerous guys, but they love to joke, laugh, have fun. I was sleeping, but half asleep because I could still hear them. And Izzy and his team, they were loud, and then you could hear Izzy. Izzy's like talking. He's like, "Yo, we don't want to wake up this guy. He looked like the biggest, scariest guy on the card. Let's not wake him up." They start laughing. They're laughing. They're like, "Yeah, let's not wake him up. Let's calm down." And then the fact that he had respect and was like, "Well, when he wakes up, then we'll come back and take up on the conversation," because they were talking about what they were gonna do when they get to Abu Dhabi.
Mhm.
So like to see that respect for a person they don't know, like that junk was crazy. The whole experience was crazy, and I'm grateful for it.
You've been training. I mean, you've been training. That's all you do is train. You wake up and you train. You take a break, but you're training. You live. That's just your DNA is training. How did you get to that point? Because you've mentioned before that you were bullied.
Yeah.
And how did you get to that point where
that so that's a weird one because I was when I was bullied, I was actually smaller. I was small, and I was on a thing called Ritalin because I believe I have ADD and ADHD. The two of them I have. So my mother had put me on medication, and the medication, mind you, we're in the 90s, mind you, this is when things came out and they side effects like
Mhm.
stuff like that. So it's like as long as he's calm mentality, then I guess everybody has their own reason. So I'm calm. This calm kid is like it turns you into a zombie. You don't eat. You don't want to do anything. You're quiet. You're just like, all right. Let me see how I can explain this. So when I was on Ritalin, at least what they used to use back in the day, you would sit there like a zombie, but your mental state would keep processing everything. So it was
Mm.
like that's why I would tell my mom and stuff, but that's like no one cared, even the teachers. I would sit there, be coherent, like I can hear you, I can respond, I can react, but I felt like there was a second person, like I was looking at my life in front of me through a second pair of eyes, because I'm sitting there still. I'm not bothering anyone, none of that stuff, and I'm just sitting there quiet, understanding what's going on. I'm being bullied, being bothered, and I'm talking to myself, like literally, like another voice in my head. I swear, over time, I created a personality, a persona over time. So that person was manifesting more and more. The more I was off the medication, the more this person would come out. And then they put me on the medication. It gave time for that character to build even more. I swear this is the I'm happy you asked that because now I can actually explain what it was like. So as I'm on this medication, I'm here quiet, sitting down all the time while this character is building up. I'm always telling myself, watch what I'm gonna do to you if I ever get angry. Like that's the type
Oh
of
wow.
mentality that was in my mind. I'm like, one of these days I'm gonna get mad and I'm gonna take it out on you. I would say these things, but I wouldn't say it out loud. I was just saying it to myself. And then sometimes I'll sit there and just say what out of nowhere, like what? Because I'm talking to myself and I'm thinking someone's talking to me, and my friends would call me crazy, like, yo, you're crazy. Like you talk third party. I never knew what that meant until over time getting older, like talking to myself. So over time, it just got worse and worse. More people bullied me. I was an easy target. I never dressed in popular clothes, never had name brand shoes, none of that stuff. I was just an easy target. You got this kid who's sitting down, maybe they were bullied and stuff, but it is what it is. But I was the easy target. So cool, everything's cool. So the more I sat here and try to understand it, I was like, um, yeah, told my aunt because around this time my aunt got custody of me, but she had me on the medication because that's what was recommended by my doctor. And at the same time, in pharmaceuticals and doctors, they're making their money the more you fill these prescriptions. So it's cool. My aunt finally grew up like, you know what? I'm gonna take you off this stuff because I don't see the reason for it. And my dad ultimately took me off of the medicine. And then that was around 2002 time, around the same time I joined the wrestling team, which was crazy cool. So then everything at once came just rushing out. This person that was hidden came out, my true self. I was always getting in trouble at school. I was always getting in trouble at school. I was crazy. I was always joking, laughing, having fun, just doing whatever other kids told me to do because I was trying to fit in to be cool. Long story short, I got expelled twice. I was homeschooled for a year. I was transferred to another school for, they say, bad kids, Manchester Regional Academy. But it's more like kids that needed more attention than others. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like 68 kids in a school during a year. Like a year, 68 kids, maybe tops 100, if that. Very limited classroom, the same teachers every day. You had one homeroom and you were limited. So over time, I was this kid who was 186 pounds. My sophomore year when I wrestled, I was 186. Junior year, I was 197. My senior year, I got as high as 209 pounds to 211. So over time, I hit a growth spurt because the Ritalin, literally, I wasn't eating. It stumped my growth. I'm supposed to be taller than this. I ain't supposed to be 5'10", people. I'm supposed to be 5'10". Like, I'm telling you, I'm not supposed to be 5'10". It stumped my growth, and I guess at the time, they just didn't care about the side effects. So I wasn't eating. I was small, like, but when I got off, I hit my growth spurt. That's why people swear I'm on, like, something happened to me in high school. My junior year, I was this kid, maybe 5'5", 5'6". I come back to high school, I'm 5'9", 5'10", 209 pounds, like how I look now, but a little less lean, but big, structured. And they were like, yo, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. Like, teachers were like, you must have hit a nice growth spurt. Like, you was eating good over the summer, huh? And I was like, I didn't know what it meant. So after that, I was just like, I used wrestling to build my confidence because I had no confidence. Like, some of the teachers that worked with me, because I was always being picked on and messed with, even then, 14, 15, 16 years old, crying. Big old grown, well, teenage boy crying. There was days I didn't want to live anymore. There were days I didn't want to go to school. There was days I just wanted to run away. There was days I just didn't want to be around people. I just wanted to be free from it all. And when I used to read up things on like other people, a good amount of people, believe it or not, freedom to them was death. That was crazy that I read up on kids that were also bullied as young as 5, 6 years old, taking their own lives. And I sat here and it became a reality to me. Like, I had these thoughts before. Like, whoever thought that picking on someone would cause a person to take their own life? I read the one that got me the most was this kid on high honors and stuff. Like, he was doing good in school, a young kid, 7 years old. He wrote this big letter to his family and apologized to them and said that he'll see them soon. And he took his own life. And it was like, I sat here and that junk, it killed me because you wouldn't know, because this kid, they talked about him as if nothing was bothering him. The people who smile and have the most happiness and love to give, for all you know, are suffering the worst. That's what I took into it. And I'm like, you know what? I can do something about this. I don't
Mhm.
have to be a victim. I can do something. I can actually be something bigger than this. I can show people that there's a way around this. So after joining the wrestling team and I built that confidence, I just built a whole new meaning to myself with structure, confidence, dedication, the whole nine. It's just started to build consistency, the whole nine. I just became a new person when it came into the mindset because I truly had intentions of like eternal rest. I don't want to say kill myself because
Mhm.
I feel like it's not, it's just be free, free spirit, away from it all. Like go into another world where you don't have to deal with this, where you're just happy all the time and you're just away from this bull crap. Because I did nothing to these people, yet they choose to mess with me every single day. So 2011 hit and my daughter was born.
Oh.
That changed my life. Now I don't live my life. My life is still my life, people say, but I don't live for me anymore. I live for my kids. Now, everything I do, I have to think twice, not just for myself, but for the action of what would happen if I do this, how would it result to my kids and their future? Because I'm already, my future, everything for me is already written. Now I have to pave the way for them to where I can make a statement or a stand or some type of impact to where as they get older, they're remembered. They're like, oh, your dad did this and your dad did that. Not the opposite where they get pulled over. Oh, your dad was a bad guy. And now, so over time, I developed a mindset of if I try to do something, at least follow suit with it. So for 10 years, I didn't do nothing. I played video games, ate Chinese food, ate junk food. I wasn't into fitness. I just didn't care. I was working two jobs and just my bills were paid. I was able to afford things and I was just gaining weight. I went from being 209 pounds to 297 pounds. So over time, I just gained weight. I was working two jobs. One of them were KFC, so that wasn't helping either. I'm a cooking KFC, eating everything that I wanted. So it was like I need change. And then when I was moving, a picture fell out my yearbook, and it was literally the picture of me and my brother standing side by side during wrestling season. And I looked at it like, how did I let myself get to this? I'm looking at myself in the mirror like, yo, I don't even look like this person in the picture. Like my face is big and round. It's all poofy. I look like the hamburger guy from Popeye. That's how I looked. So I'm sitting here looking like that, and then I'm looking like I went from looking like Popeye to looking like the burger guy, and I'm sitting here like that's crazy. I just wanted to make change. That same day, I literally started like I went. I threw away a lot of my junk food. I bought salads. And that same day, which was the worst day of my life because I was stupid, I went to the YMCA and ran a mile like straight. No warming up, nothing. Now I see what people mean by warm up. My shins were on fire. My legs were on fire. My butt was on fire. My lower back was killing me. My knees were on fire. My feet swelled up. But I ran that mile. Even though it took me 17 minutes, I had it at that speed where my feet were at the pace, but I didn't know that that was putting strain on my lower back and knees. So over time, I figured it out. But I found MMA because of Jose Rivera, the boxer. He fought Joe Giannotti two
Mhm.
times actually. I'm pretty sure you've seen him before. You probably took some pictures.
Yes.
So he does boxing and he did MMA. So I seen his hand getting raised in a reality cage actually in 2015, end of 2015, near there. And I asked him, I'm like, what is that? And he was like, oh, it's MMA. Mind you, in my mind, I only thought there was UFC and Bellator, like these high promotions. That's it, actually. I never seen no other promotion. UFC on Spike TV and Bellator. That's it. So I'm thinking, like, I can never get in these sports. I'm seeing people like Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Frank Mir, these people that are already known getting into sports. So I'm like, oh, I'm a nobody. So I sat here and he introduced me to Kip. I didn't even know Kip owned a Naga.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to compete. Kip taught me the Americana that you guys see me use at the end of the second round, by the way. So he taught me some stuff when I was learning. And after like a month or two, Jose realized I outgrew Kip's basement. He's like, you really can't learn nothing or roll with no one here because you're the biggest dude here and your wrestling background is hard to submit you. And it's like, I'm going to bring you somewhere else. And that's how I got the Thorntons. And from there, that journey became to what it is today. That journey was, people, I would say long, but people would say that I'm being like, oh, you're cocky because it wasn't long. Now I've been doing this for 10 years, 15 years, and I'm still not in the UFC. Well, I say it's long because for 4 years, I consistently trained every single day, every week for the past 4 years, going on 5 years. There was no such thing as a fight camp. There's no such thing as a vacation, family event, birthday parties, hanging out with friends, going out to party, none of that. All I could think about was my coach telling me, if you bust your ass and train and you do what I tell you, what if you could get into the UFC? And then boom, 4 years later, we make the walk to the UFC cage in freaking Abu Dhabi on Yas Island. Like how epic is that?
I mean, you took your life path and you transformed it into what you knew you wanted. And it's something that you are giving hope for all these children that are going through so many different things in life. And they think that their dreams will never be achieved. Yet you are an example of being emotionally, maybe physically abused. And you took that and you said, no, this is not going to define me. I'm going to define my own future. And you
Yeah.
did. And all right, look at your contender, right? You're laying down, guy was getting tired, and you're like, okay, whatever, just give me some time, and everybody's like, and people who know you are like, oh crap, any second now, oh boom, there it is, it's like we have to time it, so it's like, wait, oh, and there we go. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
wow, and this is like an amazing story for everybody, for the children, for the young adults, for people who want to achieve any type of dream, they can. And if you want it, you have to work for it, and you constantly work for it, and I mean, just look at your whole path in life. You decided to make a choice, and you're setting the example for your daughter, for your kids. You decided that, no, I'm going to be the example. I'm going to show them the way. Like, they don't quit. You
Yeah.
didn't quit. They're not going to quit. You decided that your life was more valuable than the words and the things people were doing to you. Now you can be that inspiration to the others. Because it
Yeah.
doesn't stop here. You went to the Contender Series, you went there twice, and you're like, nope, sorry, not today. I'm going to be fighting on the UFC. And you do it. And people who don't know you, they can say whatever they want. Like, oh, what was that post that guy was saying? Like, oh, your fight was a joke. And it's just like, really? Do you even know anything? Have you been in the cage? Because if you haven't been in the cage, just zip it, because I can say anything. I can say whatever I want. Like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. But I'm pretty sure if I was in that cage, I would not have been doing anything except walking out the other door.
That's the misconception of people. It's easier said than done. Like, you're saying, well, you should have did this and you should have did that. You gotta understand there's takedown counters, there's deadly striking, there's knees, there's elbows, there's so many varieties
Mm-hmm.
of, from one mistake that can happen. And I capitalize that on that on everyone. I use their breathing. The number one thing you can't escape from, you need oxygen. I use their oxygen, their breathing patterns against them. That's why you see I'm so explosive. I know when to react. I catch them on their wind. So it's like, you sit here and they say, well, you should have did this, you should have did that. And I'm like, what is there to do? I got my hand raised. Like, I could understand if it was like something else, or if I got disqualified, or it was that one thing that you're speaking of that could have altered the whole 15 minutes of a fight. But I sat here, mind you, my eye got poked in the second round. I could not see, but I couldn't tell the refs that, because if I said that, the fight would have been over. I did not just fly 16 hours, sit in this room quarantined for 48 hours, train for a whole 8 days, and then fight at 2 in the morning over there in Dubai. Mind you, 2 in the morning. I did not do all this so I can get a no contest or go to the judge's card and we can score what we got. Nah, I sat there, put on my poker face. My chin went up because I couldn't see. I always keep my chin down, but when I kept it down, it gave me a headache because I was looking upward. So I'm like, dang, I got to keep my head up, because I got to keep my head level, because that's the only time that I'm not getting this headache and I can see. But every time I went to strike or breathe out, the pressure of like the strain on my body, it was making my eye worse. And the adrenaline wasn't helping me. My adrenaline was not helping that eye. Like, I was keep squinting it closed, and I was like, damn, if I show weakness, he's gonna see. So when he started throwing, I was just showing him like no signs of nothing. That's why y'all see me shake my head when he throw that head kick. I was almost insulted. I'm like, bro, if we're gonna fight, please fight. Don't just throw anything in the kitchen sink, because right now I'm trying to get that performance of the night bonus, and we're not looking so good, because right now you're not performing. I need you to react so I can react. I just wanted to show that I can dominate a human being for 15 minutes and that I have a gas tank, because that was another thing. Like, oh, you have so many first round finishes. Can you go to the 3 rounds? What if you get a championship fight? Can you go to 5 rounds? And you know me, I always held the title, and if it need be, I can go into those rounds.
That's okay. You can keep surprising them. That's it. You know, I've told you that so many times. It doesn't matter. It's about you.
Yeah.
It's not about anything else. Because you can't play their game. You got to do your own game. And that's why you've gotten to where you have, because you keep doing it. You don't let anybody stop you. You know what you're about, and you keep it going. How has your life changed from being a prospect?
So, like, I hope my life doesn't change. So far, everything's been normal. Like, I'm still me. Like, nothing's gonna change me. I like being my happy, witty little self. Like, I enjoy it. Like, I just hope the people around me don't change. Certain people already started treating me differently. Like, I don't want to call no names, but I'm catching on to it, because I'm like, nah, let's not do this. Calling me Mr. Hollywood. They're saying don't change on us. Can I get your autograph? And their debt says, oh, can I get a picture with you? Can you sign this? It's gonna be worth money. I'm like, you could have did that way before this. Like, don't do it now. Like, let's not switch up. Let's not act brand new. I call him brand new. So whoever's listening to this interview, if I called you brand new, understand you're the one switching up, because I'm still me. I'm still laughing. I'm still sparring with the same people. I'm still with the same gym. I'm still with the same team. I still joke. I still eat the same Snickers that I've been sneaking and eating on my prep that nobody knew about. I'm still doing all that stuff. I'm still me. Don't switch up around me because a little opportunity gave win. Remember, I'm using this platform to promote something much bigger than fighting. That's what the idea is. So don't switch up on me, people. Don't switch up.
And you know, I'm not going to, from day one until you retire. I already saw it from day one. So, you know, I'm real.
Yeah. You sparked some things. I'm like, how does she know these things about me? It's like, wait, somebody said it. They say I fight. They say I don't fight with it's not more so a purpose. They say I fight with emotion. Like, it's like martial arts. It's an art. They say I display my emotion through fighting. And that's how they caught wind of what kind of person I was when they started asking questions. And that junk was scary. That junk was scary. They're
But
like,
it's
yo,
true.
through the rounds, you can see how you are. And then, like, in certain situations where you were at the worst part, like you were at the most dangerous part, like, oh, they're about to stop this. You just broke free. I'm like, the lady started crying. She was like, I know what that means. This lady was telling me. She's like, I was like that too. She said that she used to go home and her husband used to drink and abuse her. And she said one day she had to break free. So when I sat there, I could feel her emotion at the casino at Mohegan Sun. I felt her emotion and I almost started crying with her. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, she was telling me how she lost her baby because she was pregnant at the time and everything. And I was just like burned. I'm like, because I was going through that same thing with my stepfather. He would drink and just abuse us for no reason. There was no reason, zero reason, just because liquor changes people. That was his true nature. So it's like, yo, that's what you had to deal with every day when I was going home. But it's like, yeah, I'm older now. And hopefully he hears this because I know he's down south, and just come pay me a visit, man. Put the gloves on, let bygones be bygones, and then after the round, I guarantee you can do whatever you're good. Like, I'll shake your hand, but until then, you got. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut right now. I ain't gonna swear or do nothing crazy, but yeah, because I know he's watching my stuff. I know he is. So it's like you sit here and it's like, you got an opportunity, man. You got an opportunity. Take it. Not many people want to fight. Not many people have the opportunity that a fighter of my caliber can introduce you and bring you to the gym. Like, come on down. Come on down. One round. That's it. 5 minutes. That's all I need.
A special guest.
We're gonna be in what is it? Backyard fighting. What happens in Fight Club stays in Fight Club.
Hey, just give him a free class.
One free class. One.
Yeah.
He gave me all those free classes. I want to give him one back.
Yeah, and you know what? You can give him an autograph after that.
Yep, I will too. I will. Look, here's an autograph hat. Hope you enjoy your day.
Your story for you is not the best story. For everybody else listening who's going through what you went through, you're inspiring them not to give up. You're inspiring them to fight for another day. You're inspiring them to keep moving forward, to focus, to get their mindset, because you're bigger than that. You were bigger than whatever your stepfather told you, whatever you went through. You're way bigger than that. So now other people, other children, other survivors, you're giving them the ability to be like, wow, I can actually do something about it. I don't have to accept this anymore. You are using your platform, you are using your voice for so much more, to show people your natural athleticism. Totally said that wrong, but whatever. Your motivation and your drive. And people need that. Right, what'd you say?
You said it right. It's athleticism.
Oh, I always say things wrong, so I guess I just thought I said it wrong. I'm really happy that you never gave up. I'm happy that you saw through those words that were trying to destroy you. You became the masterpiece. When people want to break something, like now, these carpenters and all these construction people, they do all these amazing stuff with broken glass. People wanted to break you. People wanted to do so much to you. But what you did is that you took all those shattered pieces and you became this masterpiece that people can now see. And they're like, I want that. I want that. I want to become that. But in order to become that, you got to go through a lot of stuff. So thank you for being who you are and overcoming every single obstacle that has come your way. What advice do you have for the people out there, for the children? Just what would you like to share?
So for the children, I'm going to say this carefully. Like, you got to understand what it means. Say something. Whatever you're going through, it could be anything. I don't know what it is. It could be anything. anything. Say something. Don't sit there quietly. Just understand that someone's like, say something, because I said nothing. I wish I said something sooner to the right people. It doesn't need to be just your parents or whoever. Say something to somebody, someone you trust, because over time, it's gonna affect you. It's gonna affect you, and I don't. It's like, hold on, plug this in. It's gonna affect you, and it's like I sat there and I was speaking. I was talking to the wrong people. I felt like I should have had a wider range of somebody to talk to, because I tried to confide in the wrong people, and that same person was using the data that I was giving them and bringing it back to this person, and then it became worse. But say something. For the teens, a lot of things that are said, females, because I seen some stuff go down in females too in the foster home. There are things that are just not okay. You don't have to take shit. There's some things that are not okay. Love is not violence. People need to understand that love is not violence. If a man ever puts their hands on you and then they tell you they love you, that's a lie. Anything a man loves, they cherish. You can look in a room and see things that are put up there. It could be a trophy, it could be jewelry. They keep it clean and they put it away. They don't abuse it. It's probably clean. It looks brand new still. Understand that love is not violence. If a man puts their hands on you, it is not okay. There is no, oh, but he loves me though. That doesn't exist. I have 4 daughters. I have 4 daughters. If a human being in the male aspect ever in their life, I don't care if my daughter's 16, 17, 18, which they start dating, whatever, which in my under my roof, I'm gonna be till they 30 or whatever, and they want to fight me, then we can lace them up. But it is not okay. It's just not okay. I do not condole in it. It is not okay. I don't mess with that. Because if somebody puts their hands, I gotta think of my daughters. If somebody puts their hands on my daughters, that's there's no debate. I'm going to do something. I'll keep it PG-13. Understand. Okay. Adults, adults, male and female, there's this thing called hype, attention, likes, shares, Facebook, Instagram, the whole nine. We don't have to please nobody, because at the end of the day, the only person you should be pleasing is yourself. The only person that you should be making happy is yourself. You should be happy before you make others happy. You can't sit here and make others happy before yourself. One big reason is you start to lose yourself, because you're someone else's happiness. Who's your happiness? Who's there to comfort you when times are there? So don't sit here and put yourself out there to entertain others. Like, shares, all that stuff means nothing. It really doesn't. It means nothing. And where I come from, my grandmother is my greatest joy. Anything I do or anything that I try to do, I go and talk to her first. Regardless if I'm 32, she's almost 90, and I'll sit here and I'll still go and confirm with her and talk to her, see if something's okay, because that's my ultimate peace. She's my ultimate peace. She never led me down the wrong path. Even if it hurt me, she'll let me know what it is. Like, listen, I know you're not gonna like what's gonna be said to you, but it is what it is. She's one of those people who are blunt and actually helped me understand what being blunt is like, to be able to sit here and speak the truth. She says, always speak the truth. No matter if the person's gonna get hurt, if they're gonna be happy, whatever the case may be, at least they know the truth. Because that's the one thing every human being got, is their word and their truth. The second that's gone, you will never show you that respect again. They will never show it. So I'll say this to the kids, the teens, and adults: be yourself, be true to yourself, speak up. Someone's listening, and just love yourself. Love yourself. You are valued. You may not hear it from people around you or your loved ones, family, whatever the case may be. You are valued. You are valued human beings. You have a reason, you have a purpose. You may not know what it is yet, but I guarantee you, when you stand in front of each one of these doors and you finally take that opportunity and step through a door, you will find reason behind your purpose, like I did.
Thank you. That, wow, you left me with no words. You know, I always have something to say. I was waiting for more. I was like, oh, wow. Thank you so much for your time, for everything. I mean, you are appreciated. I know you've been busy, but I really appreciate everything that you've done, that you continue to do. God bless you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Anytime. Whenever you want to get me back on, let me know. I'll be back.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Welcome. You're welcome.